I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We'll start off with calling the meeting to order. We got the agenda ahead of us. Is there any additions, corrections, deletions?
If not, I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. We get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Who had the first one? No, I did.
Rich and then Dee, second. Okay, with that, we've got the minutes from last week's board meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
They read well. I'll move to approve them as presented. I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second regarding the minutes from last Monday's meeting. Any other discussion there? If not, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First item of business on the agenda today is the City of Carroll State Grant Matching Funds, and this has to deal with the CAT grant. Is there anyone that wants to be a spokesperson for that at this point? Mike?
Thank you. On behalf of the City of Carroll, I again thank the County Board of Supervisors for considering this grant application. This is a city applied grant application. Just one clarification based on kind of further review, we are going to be submitting for $660,000, so it's a slight change from what we had originally indicated last week. But based on a review of other successful CAT grant applications, for library projects, we believe that's a very realistic and attainable dollar amount. We discussed this last week, so I guess I'd be happy if there's others in the audience to answer any questions. We look forward to the county support for this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
I have some questions for, I'm kind of a little bit behind the curve here, so I have a few questions for the Library Foundation. And I don't know who speaks for that. Okay.
Vice President, President, I mean.
Okay, well, one of my questions, there's three parts to this, is that correct, on a CAT application? As you understand it, there's city, county, and private entity, is that correct? Asking for this?
What does it? So this is a city application solely. As part of the grant application, it does require the county, whatever county it's in, they have to give a monetary support for the project.
There's no private money that have to be committed to this with it?
Through a CAT grant, it's not required. Certainly, the criteria would look favorably. In our application, we are
Okay.
noting the contribution that's being made.
Will you be providing private money with this then too, you know?
It'll be on the application, so for example, we already have $371,000 in grants. That includes $100,000 from the Hyder Family Foundation in Omaha. We have money associated with the Kemper Foundations, $1,000 from Casey's.
Okay.
And then we have a number of, private donations, notably the ones from the Walsh family and the Davis family.
That will all be
$100,000
included
and-
on the app itself?
That'll all be included, and the reason that we're optimistic about the potential of this grant, Rich, this application is, we're already close to the $1.8 million mark, so we're not going to the state with a blue sky proposal.
Okay.
With nothing behind it. We're going to them with a lot of
Okay.
momentum.
Okay. This request, now, I'm not nitpicking, but how long's this been in the works? I mean, we just went through our budgets. We've been glad to like to have this presented before we went through our budget process. That's kind of a little discerning. I mean, this couldn't have just popped up. I mean, you should have known about this maybe a month ago, a month and a half ago. We could have at least covered that process during our budget process. I would have been a little happier about that. And I'm not picking on you particularly. I'm just saying, probably would have been a little more palatable for us. We could have had that discussed at that time, rather than catch us in hindsight.
Earlier is always better than later.
Yeah.
I would let you know that we are applying for multiple grants, so there are different application deadline windows. And, we stuck the landing on those deadlines to get other grant applications out there. So,
Okay.
your point's well taken, but I would let you know that we have multiple grants that we're applying for. This
Okay.
isn't, we're not a one-trick pony just looking for
Okay.
this one grant.
And my next thing is, what's the city's contribution to this? Michael, do you know what they're going to contribute to this?
Well, I mean, in addition, we are doing, there's the bond referendum, which is $3.8 million. Additionally, we're spending $500,000 out of local option sales tax towards the project.
Okay. Very good.
I think to clarify it, I've got a copy of the application form in front of me, not the one you filled out, but a blank one that I pulled up. And it said that the applicant should be cooperation with the city or can be with a city or county. So it can be either one to be eligible. I think what they're looking for, and correct me if you're wrong, is more power on your local match side. You don't have to have us, but it would probably be better for you if you had us as a local match. Is that correct?
Well, my understanding it's required to have a county match, and in fact, when Merchants baseball field was a grant application recently, the county, I don't know the exact dollar amount it started out at, I believe maybe $5,000 if I recall correct. The CAT grant actually came back and said, for us to fund this, we need a larger contribution to the county, and I believe they increased that to $10,000, and then that was a successful grant. So my understanding, it is a requirement to have a county monetary match.
And I will add to that, I was, when we give Glidden a CAT grant application, that time we supported that. And they asked me to go along to present that down at when they presented their grant. And there was other ones that was presented at the same time that day, and it was very evident, if there was not local support, both county and city, you were just about told, there's the door. I guess my point is, it would not require a requirement for the application to have both the city and the county, but it certainly helps your eligibility. Would that be a correct statement, Gene? That was the point I was trying to make.
From what I've seen down there, it was pretty evident that if there wasn't both, you didn't get it.
Okay.
CJ, you had?
I could speak to that since I happened to be there when the CAT grant started in Vision, Iowa. And that board, and I think it's continued to this day, that they looked at it, and you're right, it's not maybe required, but you will, and I can say it because I'm a private citizen, I can say what I want now, I guess. But you have to have city, county, and private. It was those three entities, and it was over and over again. And I sat at the table with Greg Connell, a supervisor from Shenandoah, and Mike Gartner, and they were really the ones that kind of came up with the formula, as well as the whole group. So, and it's not just a token, it's because they want to know that the local groups and the local community is in favor of this, for them to buy on. So,
Okay.
you're right. To be successful, you need those 3 points.
Now, just as a matter of groundwork, who exactly is applying? Apparently it says the city of Carroll is seeking, and it's on unsigned Library Foundation letter request, I guess. So I guess I want to know who's doing the asking and who the check gets made out to if it's passed.
It will be a City of Carroll application. I mean, I go back to the letter that was in your packet last week, I mean, it came from the City of Carroll. The letter, I think that was in this week's was supplemental from the foundation. I mean, you're clearly supporting the application itself, but this will be a City of Carroll application. We ultimately, if this is funded and the contribution from the county comes, it would be written to the City of Carroll. We felt that that would be more palatable. I know with all the discussions around the library, we wanted to make that a non-issue in this grant application.
What action is the city council, for example, taking on the CAT grant
They're set to take action tonight.
tonight? Okay, thank you.
And from the foundation, I'm Vice President of the Foundation, Doug Burns, and just wanted to stress that the destination here, our 2.5 million goal, we're going to get to our destination. Our destination is known. You're going to help us today with guiding us toward the route that we use to get there. So there's a limited amount of philanthropic dollars available in Carroll. I would like when I came onto the foundation, my role has largely been because of some of the stories I've done, the network of sources that I have that are outside of Carroll, people that are in Omaha, like the Hyder family, we went to for $100,000 and they contributed. Any money that we can get outside of Carroll County is money we don't have to raise in Carroll County. So I don't want there to be any mistake or confusion about the vote today. It's not, it wouldn't derail our effort, it wouldn't derail the construction of this library. It's literally just a vote about the source of the money. You know, there's some principled arguments that this should be done entirely with tax dollars or entirely with private dollars. I think the council struck a reasonable balance, and the foundation's working within that balance. So we'll, no matter the outcome of the vote today, we're going to go out and we're going to get 2.5 million. We're going to make good on our, and we might even surpass it and make good on our commitment with this. Some people might argue that the state shouldn't be involved in CAT grants at all, but it is a competitive process, and if we're not able to apply, then that just opens it up for other cities. I'd frankly rather see, you know, money come into Carroll from the state instead of going to Red Oak or going to Sheraton or Clarinda or other cities. So by voting to support us, you're freeing up money that can go to St. Anthony or New Hope Village or any number of churches, rather than you know, being in the competitive mix. So look at this as a community vote, a vote to bring money in from the outside and free up more money to go to other causes locally.
Any other discussion? or
Well-
comments?
Yeah, I have a question, I don't know who can best answer, and that is, I'm hearing more and more and more, that this looks like a bait and switch program from the original promise of your funding to now more taxpayer money. How do we justify that, and how do we keep from being considered that problem? I don't know, Doug, if you can who can best answer that?
Well, if we can leverage $5,000 a year to get hundreds of thousands of dollars from the state, which would be a reasonable projection, I think that serves the community well by, again, bringing money. My role in the foundation all along has been to try to get as many donors as we can from outside of Carroll County, whether it's Ron Olson in Los Angeles, whether it's Merle Wilberding in Dayton, Ohio, whether it's the Hyder Family Foundation in Omaha. That's money coming in, and I just look at this as a further example of that will keep more money floating around in our community locally, turning over 7 times in local businesses, or being available for, you know, Kemper, DMAC, St. Anthony. I mean, the people that run those organizations are all personal friends of mine, and when I get a check from outside of Carroll, I'm thrilled for the Library Foundation, but I'm also thrilled that that leaves more money available for other vital organizations in Carroll.
But what people are saying is being done is they're transferring the responsibility of raising these funds from the private donations that was promised before the vote, and they're transferring that to the taxpayers. And that's the problem. How do you get around that problem?
Well, in this case, it would be the state, and it's not like, you know, I was at a legislative forum on Saturday. It's not like there's any effort to de-appropriate the CAP program, Doctor. So that money is going to be distributed around Iowa. I think it makes sense for that money to come to Carroll County rather than go to Louisa County or Polk County or any of the other 98 counties.
Doesn't address the problem of the switch and bait appearance. So that's the problem.
We might be able to get past 2.5 million, and this might allow us to do that. So,
So you wouldn't even need it.
huh?
So you wouldn't even need the grant.
No, we're applying for multiple grants. We can't project that how much we're going to get, but there's certainly some flexibility with you know, programming going forward. So our goal, 2.5 million is a goal. I think we're very likely to get there. I just don't think it makes any sense to allow 98 other counties to pursue this money, to allow 328 other cities to pursue this money. And, you know, we're talking about $5,000 a year. I've been in this meeting room hundreds of times when there's been nobody in here but me and Virginia and the supervisors, and they've been talking about far more money.
I thought
So-
we were talking about $650,000.
from the state, we're talking about 5,000 of local money.
No, I'm talking about total taxpayer money.
Total taxpayer money, yeah, it would be, I would be thrilled if we got a $660,000 grant, but that's money coming from the state that otherwise would go somewhere else. It's not like the legislature's gonna send it back to the general fund or cut a rebate check to taxpayers if they don't approve our grant.
The implication is that the state money is free money, and gentlemen and ladies, it is not free money. We're all paying taxes for this stuff. So you need to keep that in mind, it's not free.
No.
That's a
I pay
principle,
it.
it's a principal point, but that should be taken up with the legislature. There's no reason for us to unilaterally disarm, so should we not go after any state grants then?
Basically, it's income tax money.
Yeah.
Gaming money.
Yeah.
Can I just make
Right.
one point? Because, I heard this argument this weekend that, the foundation was only going to go after private funds. The city advertised that this was going to be private funds. I went through all of our material, actually went through meetings, and at no time did on our website, on our flyers that we sent out to the public, did it say that this was going to be private funds. And it was very clear that we were going to go out through discussions at council that, yes, there was going to be donations raised, there would also be grants applied. CAT grant was one area that was discussed about we were going to seek at some point. We didn't know when we'd make that application. Part of it is you need to be in a position that you can show that the project's going to move forward. And we weren't to that position until fairly recently. I understand and appreciate the point that, this is additional taxpayer dollars. But I think it is to say that we were not going to seek other grants, including the CAT grant, simply is not a correct statement.
Mike, I would suggest that the flyer that you sent to every household in Carroll does not include the word grant, federal taxpayer grant.
I would agree with that, but it didn't say it was going to be private funds either. I have it right here.
I've got one here that says private.
Well, where did that come from?
This one example would be from a news story that the paper did.
Well, I can't, again, that wasn't
It
something that
says
came
private
from the
fund
city
rating,
of Carroll.
quote, unquote.
I mean, I can go through, I have our website, I have letters from the foundation to the
That's beside
council.
the plan.
Must not live
I'm not
here.
gonna,
Is that a story in regards to, about the foundation funding, or on behalf of us? Because we can't, the foundation and the library cannot take control of what is published
I
unless it
understand.
comes directly from us.
Yeah, I understand that. It was just part of the material that was out there.
I guess
Yeah,
the
I know.
original discussion here was the $5,000 over 5 years, which amounts to $25,000. One comment I will make is we've done this in past in several cases. We've done it with the city of Glidden with the pool. We've done it with Coon Rapids with Thomas Rest Haven. We've done it with Manning for their downtown Manning facade. It's a part of progress that I think we need to move forward with. And the wishes, when we talked about it a little bit last week, we do it, the board was basically to do it contingent upon getting the CAT grant. And that's kind of where things are at right now.
I will state this, that, go ahead,
I
Mike.
would, and one comment, I should have said it when I first started. We went back and looked at successful CAT grants.
Mhm.
Putting a contingency on is perfectly acceptable. This will be a competitive grant having a
Right.
contingency. There's no issue with that.
Okay, thank you.
And I will follow up with what Marty said, that it has been the practice of this board to support CAT grants. And I look at CAT grants as a very good way to leverage with a few dollars, to leverage many dollars, many times more return on your investment than what you ever can get a chance at. I know, like in Glidden's case, we had to give them 5,000, they got 100,000. And, like Marty said, we've done all these other communities. One that you neglected was also Templeton.
Yeah.
But they have been very successful, and I think it is a way to get some state money back in here. It's money that's gonna go somewheres, we just will have it in our community. I look at this thing as that it's a very good thing. I am very supportive of it. I do believe that, yes, I would want the contingency of to be honest, that we would give the 25,000 over a 5-year period contingent on the successful application of the CAT grant. And, I think it's a great deal. We've always been supportive. The only thing I would say was we will use local option sales tax. That would be my wish, which would not be property taxes. That would be local option tax. And so that way we don't have a property tax from the county involved in this.
Well, I'm gonna chime in here because if it was the city of Breda sitting here, I would vote for it. If it was the city of Lanesboro here, I would vote for it. If it's the city of Carroll sitting here, I will vote for it. But coming in late behind our budget thing kind of ticked me off a little bit because they had to have known this was coming. I know you can do budget amendments. I know we can work around this. It's time to take the budgets a little more serious and not just willy-nilly around them every time we get a chance. That's my philosophy. So my offer here is not to get my vote, but I just want to throw this out the middle ground for us 5. We have committed $41,000 to the City of Carroll Library. If this is a large taxation issue, my vote would be to remove 5 from our last payment and use that 5 and direct it towards this grant. They're still, in essence, getting 41,000. They're getting it in a different way. It's gonna put a little cramp into their budget. But I see that as no new money that we have invested in this. And I think that would be a palatable thing for me to accept. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on it.
Don't you think that they have that money committed in their budget?
I think so.
It's
That very,
operating?
all right, then my second offer would be, then we'll put in $5,000 worth of new money, knowing that next year's budget will get cut $5,000.
I could live with that more so than cutting from this year.
I would be more likely to vote for that than using local option sales tax. Right now, local option sales tax is used indirectly for property tax relief, and every dollar we take away from that for something else is indeed increasing our local property tax. So it would be just, local option sales tax isn't property tax, but it does affect property tax dollar for dollar, I think. It's gonna affect us the same as taking it directly from property tax, just giving the public a little different picture of it. I think we have a balance here. I want to bring in outside money, which the CAT grant I'm referring to. I want to be a good steward of the county money. But what troubles me is the problem that it has in the letter. We respectfully advise the Board of Supervisors, trying to clear putting contingency on dollar amount ordered by CAT. How can I do both without putting dollar amount in the CAT? Let us say, for example, I would approve this, it was contingent upon receiving $300,000 of CAT grant, even though you're, I think it'd be more palatable to a taxpayer knowing that they're gonna get at least $300,000 as opposed to nothing if it's not approved. And of course, you're asking for a clean vote, which everybody wants a clean vote. That's kind of a sideline to me. What do you think of a contingency upon an amount?
So Becky Benami's not here because she has 2 kids at home with a late start, but she's our grant writer, and I spoke to her early this morning, and a contingency that we would get a grant, just to flat out, that, as Mike said, that wouldn't spoil the application, but if you put a dollar amount on it, she's done a lot of these grants, and she believes that will spoil the application. So I guess my suggestion would be to vote it through clean, and then if for any reason, if it's not the CAT grant, but for any other reason, you're unsatisfied with the performance of the foundation or the scope of the project, then de-appropriate it later. Make the appropriation now so we can put it on the applications. And it's not just the CAT grant. This will help us with other nonprofit applications. So I would respectfully ask you to keep it outside of the year-to-year annual library appropriation process. Give us a clean vote of $5,000 a year over the next 5 years. And if you don't like, if you're dissatisfied, with the project for any reason, not just the CAT grant, but for any reason, then come back and de-appropriate us.
Who's the judge of the satisfaction? Because maybe you-
Ultimately, the voters who, two of you are up for reelection.
Maybe.
Of course, they're running unopposed, but they're up for reelection.
You say if you guys don't meet the standard of raising money with this $25,000, who's gonna be the judge? Let's say it raises $100,000, we're not happy with that. Are we the final judge of that, or are
Yeah.
you the final judge of that?
You'd be the final judge of that. You'd have, we would, because the grant would be contingent on that money coming through, and if you thought it wasn't enough, you could de-appropriate it, which would make us ineligible for the grant.
If we were to go with Rich's plan, I mean, you would have leverage that way as
Yes,
well.
I like Rich's plan, I like Rich's plan, Rich's idea.
So you want to take that out, that 5,000 out of their
It would be
budget every
no
year?
new,
Well,
what it would
I'm gonna-
amount is no new money from us.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that out of their budget every year for 5 years.
Give them the option of reallocating the money they're already getting in order to get a CAT grant.
And I'm gonna leave that option to them, if they would rather reserve, we're gonna take the hit this year in their budget, and if they do not want to, and they've already late commitment, then fine, then we'll put in $5,000 new money this year, but next year knowing we're probably going to reduce them by $5,000 asking.
Well, the grant maybe does on the other sheet, but on this sheet, say which 5 years anyhow, but I assume they're talking 5,000 this year.
I guess I have a problem with reneging on this year's. I just don't think we
No.
need to go
And
there.
I fully get it, because here we are
Yeah.
sitting with our budget,
Yeah.
and we don't wanna mess with our budget, I don't think they wanna mess with
And
theirs
I
either.
have a problem with taking it out of their budget. That's operating money that they're using for that.
You mean for
But-
this, for his plan?
But what I'm saying
If we were
is-
to go that way.
What I'm saying is, I'm asking them to get some more skin in game. That's what I'm asking.
Well,
One attribute your idea has is that it affects the Carroll Library and not the other libraries.
Right.
Asking extra tax funding.
It's not gonna affect the
taxing
other libraries at
everybody
all.
in the county as opposed to just Carroll people.
I guess, as far as the local option sales tax dollars that we get, they're coming from the success of the communities in this county. And the more successful our retail economy is, the bigger that's going to get. And I was gone for the weekend. When I came home last night, my wife had a list of stuff she was going to do in Carroll. Hy-Vee, Fairway, and the library. And I said, you have the library on your list? And she says, I always have the library on my list. And I think a lot of the supervisors know that when, when she was on break, at lunch, a lot of times she'd just go to the library. I think there's more people out there than we realize that that is the case. And I think Sac County is one of those areas that they don't have a good library, and they're willing to travel here for that library. So I think it is an economic advantage to have a library and to have a good one. And it comes right from my house. So I like your plan, but I think we need to fully support this.
yeah, and I tend to agree with you. And I think to get things kind of off center, I will make a motion that we support the CAT grant with $5,000 over a 5-year period to a total of $25,000 for a successful CAT grant. And that I personally would just soon use local option sales tax, but for the reasons you said, so I'll make that motion.
I just had a question, and this is, that I haven't heard anybody mention this yet, but I think the board is aware, but might need to be reminded, as well as the city, is that these are last in dollars. And if that hasn't occurred to you, I want to make sure that that's brought to your attention one more time. Doug had mentioned that they're very close to their 1.8, 1.9. But what I've also heard is that they're not there yet. And if that's not the case, then I believe this is premature. And if it's not, yeah, all I'm just saying is I think the decision absolutely has to be made until they've raised their, balance of their private fundraising in order, because you won't even qualify at all if it's not last in dollars.
I think
Am I under any
last in
misunderstanding on
refers to over 50% raised if you read the CAT grant. It's not last, it's you're fully into it and you're over 50%.
Yeah, according to the CAT grant, you have to have 50% raise.
Yeah,
And that means
yeah,
that's
50
last
is
in,
to
it's
qualify, but it's
not
last.
last, it's, you don't just go to them first, you raise, you show the support.
It was with those other three projects.
I don't
And I-
understand it that way.
Yeah, it's never been me.
And I had a direct conversation with the individual that manages the CAT grant about, are we at a point that makes sense to apply? And she did confirm through that conversation that, yes, we were in a position that it made sense for the city to move forward. So,
Mike, is there a written agreement between the city and the foundation as to how all this money is raised, transferred, and spent?
no.
No? Are you telling me there's no firm written binding agreement?
The city has done a lot of these projects over the years. For example, Merchants Baseball being the newest one with Carroll Athletic Association. And no, we have good relationships with the nonprofits in this community, and no, we have not.
But Mike, this is business, this is not personal relationship.
Mr. Chairman,
You need to, run
Mr.
it
Chairman,
like this.
okay, Mr. Chairman,
I tell you what.
I have a
Weaver-
motion on the floor, I'm seeking a second, please.
Okay, second, we need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Cut the motion with that, please.
My motion is that we will support the CAT grant for the city of Carroll to the tune of $25,000, with that $5,000 being contributed for the next 5 years out of local option sales tax,
It's contingent upon.
contingent on successful
implementation.
grant.
okay. Okay, we got a motion and a second, is there any other discussion?
I wish to amend the motion by striking the words local option sales tax, because it's just smoke and mirrors. It's gonna appear that it's not local money, but it's gonna affect local taxes the same, taxpayer just the same on the bottom line. And insert the word contingent upon $300,000.
We got a motion and a second. for
We got a
this
motion
one.
and a second at this point.
So you want me to amend it to say?
No, I'm asking, I'm doing an amendment to the motion, which will need a second in order to fly.
And what you're saying, instead of using local, just that we would support it, whether it be general funds or local.
Yes, but it would be contingent upon to getting $300,000 at least to the CAT grant. I want to be able to, if this passes, I want to be able to look the taxpayer right in the eye and say, honestly, this is going to affect your taxes, but we're getting at least $300,000 if they get the CAT grant. I think that'd be good business as opposed to just giving them, like Doug said, it's going to be used for local matches, going to be used for other grants. What guarantee is there that they're going to get more than $1 of a CAT grant? There's none. There's none.
Well,
talked-
the thing is, we can do is,
I look back and I see that the amounts are generally $200,000 or better.
there's some $1 million there too.
Huh?
There's some in there for.
Yeah, those are Sioux Center. Those are big communities, but
Sioux Center's
$660,000 is not,
Well, Washington's
What I'm saying
Washington's about
is-
our size.
is asking.
And it's 700,000.
Okay, if there's no problem, why not put it in for a contingency?
Well, let's put it this way, Neil, I think
I don't think
they
we wanna
said,
put a
they
dollar
suggested
amount.
that if we aren't satisfied, we can de-appropriate our $5,000. And I wanna,
I'm not gonna get into smoke and mirrors, things like that, where we're gonna prove something and withdraw it. That is not in the motion, and it's not, it's just a general conversation between us, and I think
Mike, is
that's
that gonna be a problem?
Well, maybe even if the answer is not a problem, let's put it in the motion then.
I talked to Becky Vanami over the weekend. And one of the reasons why, and I feel that since she talked to me as a taxpayer, one of the reasons why they held off as long as they did was because they thought they had a better shot if they had more individual private contributions. Is that correct?
It's accurate.
Okay, so that is why they held off. They thought that the grant would be more palatable at this time for those reasons, and I respect that. She also said it also strengthens, because she's seen a lot of this, strengthens the position of getting that $600,000. She feels confident that we're gonna get the city will get over $500,000 or better. She feels very good about the way the grant is written.
We're okay with the contingency, just a flat contingency on receipt of a grant, but if we start putting a dollar amount on it, that's gonna spoil the grant application, and we'll be wasting our time to even submit it. So we'd ask for again, just to give us a clean vote.
I think that's
Start putting
probably right.
contingencies of that amount on it, and
Very
you're
unfavorable.
gonna spoil the application, you're gonna waste our time to even comply.
If I was sitting in that
Tell us
seat,
that you're
I would
expecting
vote
much
in
more than
favor.
300,000, which is my contingency amount, but yet you don't want to put it in a motion.
Because of the way the state reviews
I understand.
it.
Because it's
So-
not
And you
250
have
to
a,
300.
you have a state committee down there, and they're, they say, oh, well, Carroll County doesn't want this, okay, well, we can go over here. We're in competition with
It doesn't
everyone.
say we don't want to do it, it say we want a certain bang for a buck for a taxpayer's dollar.
What matters is their interpretation, not ours. I mean, they're the ones, so we need to look at it
And
from,
how it can be.
we need to look at structuring it from their perspective, and I think if we got over $100,000, it'd be a win for Carroll.
I guess the thing that I look at, if you put $300,000 in there and you go to the state, you might get $300,000 and that's it.
a
Why
great
limit
point.
yourself to that?
I will make an amendment to my motion that we will support it and not drop the local options sales tax off.
You're gonna drop the local option sales tax off of it?
And just make it, we can do it with local option or general taxes, if that would help Niels. But I won't go along with the 300,000.
Then you decide later where you're taking the money out.
Yep, we'll decide later.
Got a motion on the floor that's amended?
And my amendment needs to be seconded.
Yep.
All right, we've got, yeah, your new motion needs a second, and you're withdrawing your previous motions, correct?
Yes.
So let me get this right, we're willing to do it, we're just gonna discuss of where we get the money from
At
at
a
a
later
later
date.
time.
At a later date.
I can do that. I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I'll move to amend the motion by inserting the words contingent upon a minimum of $300,000.
Just afraid that's gonna spoil their application.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't disagree with it, but we can always pull our money back next year if we don't see the numbers coming in. Is that correct? Is that how I understand it?
Okay, is there a second to that amendment?
And this will be, hang on just a second, this will be decided probably within within this 12-month period.
I would say we'd know within 90 to 180
Oh,
days.
okay.
Okay, that amendment fails for the lack of a second, so we'll go with the original motion and a second. We'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same
Aye.
sign. The vote passes 4-1.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Okay, with that, we'll go down to item number 2. We're running a little behind. Is the public hearing for the construction permit.
Hang on, Douglas, hang on.
You have the,
Train's coming.
Do we have any comments or anything regarding that?
I have not. I haven't even
got
had anybody review
anybody
it.
here
I
representing either side?
don't see anybody.
I don't either.
Thank you.
Thanks, CJ.
Thank you.
And there were a few at the site visit, is that correct?
Yes.
Dean and Neil. went to
And
the
basically
site.
just taking
I
out
wish I'd have
open
been
lot,
here.
putting it in
I'd like
the
to went.
confinement building.
Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna have two buildings.
1,875 feet, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
150, yeah, I think that's what their application's for. I think they had the application higher in case they got some smaller animals in there, but they were recommended by the DNR to keep it as low as possible, to keep their fees as low as possible.
Yeah, they were able to basically double the capacity of what they have there today. So the
Really?
lot is not the footprint on the lot is actually going
What's
to
that?
decrease.
Yeah.
It's actually going to decrease, but they're going to put more in the pens under roof, and they're going to bed in. So it's not going to be any liquid manure at all. It will be all solid manure, which makes it a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be basically.
How many head again?
1875.
1875.
Generally, they'll have 925 in each building, but they're going to be permitted for a little
Did you-
extra in
yeah.
case they get solid
Do you want to
ones.
stick around? Is Dave here yet or not?
I'm gonna go grab some notes, I'll be right
I'm
Okay.
supposed to be here at 9:40.
I was gonna say we could do G next if Dave's not here.
I thought it was a very, and I think you commented on that too, Neil, how they approach the situation as to being asked to approach the situation.
Well, the question I asked them was, are you being forced into this by the,
Right.
or are you doing this voluntarily? And they said they're doing it voluntarily.
No, you.
So I thought that was, after they said that, I complimented them on being, I think it was good practice as far as.
Proactive.
Wouldn't be any water runoff, come off their lots and things like that. Be more in control.
That's good.
Did we open the public?
Yeah,
hearing?
he opened it at 9:38.
9:38, yeah.
So if there's no discussion, you'd close it, and then you could just vote to approve the permit.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So with that, we will approve the construction permit for Chandler and Tim Putins. Need a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Not to approve, DNR approves, we just move it on.
No,
to
yeah,
the
just have a public
Forward.
hearing, so.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't need to forward, make a motion.
We're done
forward.
with it.
I do send a letter letting the DNR know that you guys held your public hearing and there were no.
No objections?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, with that, we'll go down to item number 3. Did Dave sneak in, or did he sneak back out?
He's here.
It was in the hallway.
Boy, you got slick last night.
I know the trees will build up fast.
Card and ditch
So they
will
had a
come
couple
back
of
down.
accidents on the highways in Des Moines on the.
Yeah, there's a
overpasses.
car on its roof right by South of Ellis Corner.
On the
Is
railroad-
anybody injured in that,
railroad
or?
cross-
Really?
Yeah.
Morning, Dave. Okay, we'll start off with the secondary roads and road discussion. Dave?
Morning, Dave.
Morning, everyone. Nice weather we've been having.
I'm glad you wrote for me.
No.
See
I hurried
several
up this
plows.
morning to check roads.
Yeah.
3, 4 o'clock?
Claims for salt payment, and I'm glad you had the salt in hand.
I didn't meet him.
Hmm?
I didn't meet you on that.
Really? State highways you're on, or you're on the county ones? I'll have to pay more attention.
I'm looking for you though, I'm going the other direction.
Speed bumps. I looked up some signs for crossings. Speed bumps or humps, as they call them. There's circled one.
Did you look into doing a roundabout?
I did. Come on. I was gonna bring a picture up.
I drove through
We
so
just didn't want to
many,
be mad.
I drove through so many of those when I was gone. Oh my God, they're everywhere.
Gosh, I wished I would've brought that picture they made for me. I didn't think Gene deserved tease like that. Wounded state. The MUTCD, the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, has got suggested layouts. They don't have one that works in a area as small as we've got here. There's some painting on the ground that you need to do. I didn't bring the copy of that
Which
with
way
me.
it's gonna go, I may have mixed them up.
There's a lot of different signs there a guy could use
Thinking about
for stop,
yield,
or
right.
put a 24-inch stop sign in it. Iowa Prison Industries didn't list a 24-inch, they listed a 30-inch stop sign as their smallest, but I would imagine we can get a 24-inch somewhere.
How wide is that? How wide is that?
19.
I mean, two cars can easily get through.
It's a little tight.
It is
Well, that's what I
tight.
thought, it was a
Yeah.
little tight.
I measured on the aerial photo, and it measured 19 feet, and I stepped it off this, on the way in here, and it came out to be about 21 steps, which would, or 21 feet.
Well, I see a lot of these
Where do you see those at?
in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
on that little plastic thing.
Uh-huh.
I see those too.
In bigger cities then, or?
You see
A
those
lot
like
of
in the
times it doesn't
mall.
make any
You know, I
difference.
think you see them probably more in the parking
Parking
lots
lots in
area.
the
Lots,
mall,
yeah.
big
Yeah.
stores, yeah.
And
So I mean, that
they
might
are-
be a suggestion there, just put one of those, and then they see it,
The,
this right here.
Straddle the home, wouldn't it?
And,
Then with the-
Is it
with
an
the bump.
A-frame type thing?
yeah, I don't know if you'd have to put the bump then, if they see that stop sign right there in the middle of it.
yeah,
I don't know, for snow removal, it's gonna be a problem.
there's
That's-
more
that's
to the
only
bump,
thing.
it'd have to come out during the winter, and,
Yeah,
apparently.
I don't think this would cost very much if you put a little,
They're little A-frame signs, aren't they, Dean?
no, it's a narrow sign that's about, that looks
12
like
inches
this, 12
wide, I
inches
think.
wide, yeah. And it's on a plastic, that if you hit it, it'll bend over, you know.
It would kind of fit that narrow area, because it's really, 19 feet's not two lanes. Those old narrow highways with the curbs on them were 18 footers, and they were, that was
Dangerous.
dangerous, yeah.
Well, we could do the signs and do the speed bump later if the signs aren't doing what we want them to do.
Yeah.
That would be a
We could get into
relatively
signs pretty
inexpensive,
cheap,
yeah, to see if it's gonna slow the traffic, I
We
guess.
could put
Do you want
one.
the yield so people can leave, or the stop?
Stop.
Well, I put the stop because all they're gonna do is yield.
Dean are on the same page with that one. That's all they're gonna do anyway.
Yield
I
just means going from 50 to 40.
Yeah.
I came in yesterday to pick up my stuff, and as I came in, there was a set of tracks going straight across, and I had a person turn in front of me and went straight across. They had no business in here, they just didn't want it, because the light was probably red up here.
Yeah.
So they went straight across. So I,
And I don't mind people doing that, it's the people that are get going 30, 40 mile an hour, and I don't know how they're
trying to
doing it,
make
but
the
then you're
next
trying to-
stoplight so they can go the other way.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
trying to walk across, it's,
If you put this out there, they will actually slow down because they don't want it to rub against their car,
Would,
right?
would we
I
put
mean, that's
that,
actually, that's true.
Give them an obstacle.
Yeah.
oh boy.
would we put it in the middle
Hey, good sport out of it.
of this, like, kind of like Mount Carmel has their stop sign in the middle of the road on a pole?
Mount Carmel doesn't.
Don't they have one?
They used to, I think.
They
used
probably
to.
used to, but they
Yeah.
don't anymore.
Probably used to in the school, wasn't
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
gone.
don't you get around the county?
I was just in Mount Carmel this morning. I thought I saw that stop sign there.
Did you stop for it?
Unless somebody else stole the one on the
roll and
pole.
go.
That might have been the issue, I didn't stop for it. It was too slick.
You slid through it.
Mm.
Yeah, would you recommend putting it in the middle or having two on each side?
It's gonna make it a little tight in the middle,
Put
for
one on
bigger
each side.
vehicles, as
Be
far
better
as-
on the sides, Dave.
We'll need two signs either way, because these are just printed on one side, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
they're actually
yeah.
printed on, well, yeah, that's right, they are printed on one side. You'd put two of them, if you were to put it in the
So we have
middle,
to buy
yeah.
Two either way, we put them on the sides.
Yeah, either way.
Well, and we get UPS and FedEx, and sometimes semis delivering here, so I hate to make it any more narrow
Yeah.
than it is.
Yeah, you don't limit bigger
We'll
traffic.
probably be buying a sign
get
every
through.
time.
Yeah.
If a semi hits it, I don't know that it'll come back up, but.
We can get the good ones for $27.20, so they're pretty reasonable.
Let's see if I got that.
Get a couple of those and
I think that's the way to go.
You need a motion.
Need a motion to that effect?
Place them?
Where are you gonna, we'll let Dave determine where to place them, I guess.
we'll let Jamie do it. He's more qualified than I am. He's the sign man.
I'll make the
Don't
motion
undermine his
to,
authority, huh?
Make
to
a
purchase
motion.
the stop sign,
Two of them?
two of them.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. We need a second? Second. Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Now, call for the vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
As a side issue, some speed humps made in Iowa Falls with recycled rubber. They come in 6-foot sections. They're $75 a piece and they weigh 35 pounds. They come with mounting legs to mount it into the concrete. I imagine you'd have to drill it and do it, so they're not.
Mounting legs is just a couple of stakes or rebar.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what these, that's one like. Yeah. Maybe we'll consider those if the stop signs don't work.
I'm hoping the stop signs work.
Yeah, let's see what that does and then go from there. Yeah.
10 more minutes to talk.
I got 10 more minutes. Tom Ike, Arcadia Limestone, won our quote or bid for limestone delivered to the shop for $15.64. This was a while back that was to be delivered in this fiscal year. He would be interested in another 10,000 if we would be interested at the same price to come July, August, September, the latter part of it. I believe we're gonna have the money in the granular account just because we've got a lot of gravel laying on the ground right now, a lot of commitments and a lot of gravel paid for, so we would have the money to purchase that. Seems to be going over okay. We've been putting it down in hopefully the right places. I know in the long run, we're probably shooting ourselves in the foot.
So you're looking at an additional 10,000.
An additional 10,000.
Is that gonna be in 19 or 18?
That would be in
19 budget.
Fiscal year 19. Need a motion to that effect?
Yes.
I will so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for additional 10,000, need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second, any other discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries.
That's 10,000 times at 1564.
Yes.
Yes.
Delivered. Delivered.
Yep.
Pretty good price. Don't have much more. I wrote down something, a new hire. Our Arcadia blade man is, the 28th this month is gonna be his last day. Once he retires, we'll be down to 32 employees. We kind of have floated around 31 to 33, even 34 employees in the recent past. Looking at those that might retire in the future, we might lose one of our mechanics, even within a year. I don't really want to say his name, but you'd ask me later, that'd be great. And, we're having a lot of issues with trucks and graders, a lot of electrical issues, and a qualified trained mechanic is kind of an interest to me and to our current mechanics. And I'm wondering if you might allow me to go out and advertise for an interview. I'm not even sure what to pay them, what the market will be on that. I've heard that there are some that are interested in working for what we're paying our current mechanics. And I didn't bring that number with me. I didn't expect to say much, but something like that hit you in a good way, or?
So you're saying instead of hiring another blade person to do roads, you'd be looking at hiring a mechanic instead?
Yeah.
Is go hire someone on the mechanical side and then find someone else to move out to the blade.
We've already got a fellow.
That would be qualified to do that.
Willing, we posted the job, and he's said that he's interested in it, and he's from Arcadia, he doesn't live there now, but he would work out real good. He runs one of our extra blades every winter and does a good job running it. So, yeah, that's basically, we're kind
Did we replace Mike Wold?
of, not per se, not as a.
So I mean, we're short a mechanic anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
There's been times we had 3 mechanics in a shop foreman, and now we're down to a mechanic and a shop foreman. And we have people with mechanical aptitude that, do a lot of work around there.
So then Mike created a vacancy that we didn't fill.
But yes.
Yeah, we should be getting,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I don't see any problem with that at all.
I guess with the two that we've got there, we've got kind of a combination between the mechanic and somebody that's good on the electrical side, but I think we need somebody to
Mhm.
take the one's place, basically, when he does retire.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna take some time to transition things there a little bit.
I think you're right, Marty.
Yeah, if you hire somebody that's been working on cars all the time, working on bigger trucks is a different situation.
Yeah. These are different days, that's for sure.
are you- in your specifications or requirements for that job, are you gonna put out that you're more involved with the electrical part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the wishes of the board?
Are you asking for a motion on that?
If that would be okay with you, yeah.
I'd make that motion to hire another mechanic
With electrical
with
ability?
electrical abilities.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
think,
take a lot.
yeah, I think everybody's looking for one of those guys.
Those technical people, and we have some things to offer that others don't, and they seem to be interested in us, from what I hear from the rumor mill anyway.
Where our good benefits program pays off.
Got 3 minutes?
3 minutes?
Yeah.
We're done. So you had the Sanders out this morning, Dave?
Did 4:30,
4:30.
yeah.
Roads weren't good.
They weren't good like about 10 last night either.
No, that freezing rain came yesterday about 5, and then it was going on about 1 this morning till 3.
And even this morning around 6:30 or so, it's kind of misted just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to polish it.
None of the roads were good even.
Have you ever got any votes or any bids from salt coming from the river?
Not from the river. We usually get it from Hutchinson.
Down south?
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah. I'm not sure what took us that way. We used to do the state bid, and then it kind of got out of hand. And we quit doing that, but that would always be won by someone coming from Hutchinson.
I had talked to somebody who, in eastern Iowa, they get a lot of salt from the river.
There's
You know,
a
coming up
vendor
on the
over
barge
there.
and, what's that?
If there's a vendor over there, a salt.
Oh, there's
salt
there's
supplier,
three vendors, salt companies in Dubuque.
you know.
So, I don't know. Just curious. I just wonder what that bid compared to.
Yeah. I think we're 32 trucking and 32 for the salt, and it's been relatively constant, but I actually expect it to go up a little bit. There was, at one time, some of the prices were in the 80s when we were dealing with the
Yikes.
state bid.
One more minute?
One more minute.
Depends on which clock they're using, I suppose.
I'm really tickled. It looks like we've got quite a few bids.
Hmm.
You need to open that.
It's 10 o'clock, we'll open the public hearing for the box culvert letting. Dave?
And these are specific to precast, weren't they, Dave?
Yes, they will.
Yeah, he's probably leaving here after he gets done. right?
He's not yours. No, he's not.
We've got
Geez, some new names on there.
Peterson, huh?
Some new names on there.
Let's start with the order they came in. I think that should be the bottom one.
Mm-mm.
First proposal I have is from Graves Construction. They have a bid bond. Their bid is $352,063.00. 352,063.00. Well, if I pronounce it, is that Nywarner Construction out of a bid bond?
Where are they from?
They're from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the bid bond is, but Nywarner's from Ottawa. They have a bid of $316,080 and no cents, 316,080. Peterson Contractors is the next one. I don't think they're written down on there. Peterson Contractors is from Rhinebeck, Iowa. They have a bid of $264,817.25.
They have bond.
Bid bond? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Keep going, Dave, you're getting cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They continue. Boy, this is great. Midwest Contracting. They're from Marshall, Minnesota. They have a bid bond. $240,654 and no cents.
I didn't know that was coming. Can't continue that. 20 grand a box.
Basically, average out 80,000.
Richards Construction Company from Sac City, Iowa. They have a bid bond. $267,321 and no cents. Nelson and Rock Contracting Incorporated from Ottawa, Iowa. They have a bid bond. $264,681.00.
That's close. Jeez.
They were kind of in there together, weren't they?
He's saving the best for last.
Uh-huh.
He's saving the best for last.
Yeah, there's two
He's saving the best for
200
last.
bucks.
Yeah, 2 bucks apart.
243,569.
That was your estimate?
Yeah,
243 what?
569.
So that's coming, right?
Did I get it?
You got it. Murphy?
Murphy, yeah.
Murphy would be.
Murphy? It doesn't look like
Put a bid
we've
in.
got one from Murphy.
We wrote one down for Murphy, or Midwest. Midwest.
He's got Murphy on there too.
Yeah,
Oh, you do.
he's a plan holder, but he didn't bid.
Okay. He's got a lot of jobs like Denver Canyons, we were talking about it on Friday, that he's not bidding on a lot of things.
Yeah. We construct that, we'll make a bidders list.
Larry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
My friend Bill is here. We can go tally these and
Come back and give us.
come back and give you a, you've got your password on there.
Yeah, it's on a little white, yellow sticky note next to my keyboard. Do you want to close the hearing then, since we're
Okay.
done opening house?
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Take it easy, James.
Box culvert letting, we need to.
I'll make a motion to close the letting.
Okay, second. You got a motion and a second to close the public hearing for the box culvert letting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Well, Dave's doing that.
He was still here.
Ooh, Gene's here with the treasurer's driver's license discussion. You wanna step in while he's doing that?
I don't know what that is, but it doesn't like come out. It's okay.
Morning, Gene.
Good morning. I just wanted to give you kind of an update of where we're at right now for driver's license. We're nearing our 1-year mark. May 1st will be a year since we started issuing 5 days a week on our own. So we're at the point where we need to start discussing CDL. I know it's been coming. I've been in touch with the DOT, and they're going to come and help me plan a route for CDL skills testing. Typically, they used to use the DOT grounds for some backing maneuvers. They won't be able to, well, they said they would prefer that we not use the DOT grounds. So I should have maybe talked to Dave Paulson, wondering if we could use the secondary roads grounds. If there may be some area out there that we can use, instead of the DOT area. So someone from the DOT, with your blessing, your approval, will come and they'll work out a route with us if we decide to move forward with this. I've got some ideas right now as far as CDL skills examiner. I don't want to go public with it yet, but I think we can work something out at little cost to the county. It's someone who already has training. I'm going to look into that a little bit deeper, but I just kind of wanted to let you know where we're at right now. If we do pursue this, I would also like to offer CDL skills testing just 1 day a week for now, just till we get our feet wet again. And then we'll discuss, keep in touch with you and discuss the needs and maybe increase that if the need arises. As you may or may not know, there is some legislation right now that they're talking about, allowing for $50 charge for CDL skills testing for a county resident and $75 fee for non-county resident that would come to Carroll County. That's legislation that they're working on. I don't know if it'll pass, but something for you to keep, on your mind too, to see if you would be in favor of that or not. It would be an option for us, wouldn't be required. So it would be an option for us to raise a little bit more money to cover the costs for CDLs. So we've got to decide if we want to charge county residents an extra fee for that, if they come in for CDL testing or not. So something for you to put on your radar and start thinking about.
As far as the testing, are you, do you think you'll have someone new to test? Are you talking about John, or?
John just does the.
Training.
The training.
Okay, so you're
I'm
talking strictly
about an
testing.
examiner that would,
Okay.
someone that would be hired by the county to go on take people out on the drives and
Right.
do the pre-tests and everything, so.
Do you have someone in that
You've got
capabilities
some-
right now?
You do have someone.
Yes.
Something about him, yes.
Yeah. So, and as I get a little closer to that, I'll share more
That's fine.
information with you on that. I did get an email today from the DOT asking if we're ready for 2 issuance computers. They're working on some new equipment. That's going to be a little more, instead of having 4 or 5 pieces of equipment in there, we've got scanner, a dock scanner, ID scanner, camera and computer, monitor and computer. They're going to combine some of these, so it's gonna be more like one unit, so it's gonna take less space. So they asked me if I was ready for 2 issuance computers, and I told them yes. So we are in line here now for 2 issuance computers. And I think, again, we've talked so much about space needs, I'd still like to put this on hold, simply because I do think I have something in mind here for 2 spots, right, side by side, very little cost to the county yet until we know what we're going to need. I don't know, with offering CDL exams, I don't know what our needs are gonna be for that and how to include that in our space needs until I have a few under our belt and a little bit more time passes. Now, with the issuance of driver's license going from every 5 years to 8 years, they are still predicting we're going to see a decrease in the traffic over the next couple of years because people won't have to renew every 5 years, they'll have 8 years to renew instead. So, it looks like Neil has some blueprints here.
Well, I just did some square footages on your different places, and you have about 737 square feet now, and there's about 500 square feet involved. If you could open that up, it sure, have a lot of space there.
Mhm.
And there's no need in swapping with anybody else unless you take over the supervisor's place where we're at now.
Right.
Or you really wouldn't gain any space to speak of. If you got the space, and these 2 don't have very good counter space because they have the stairs down.
Okay.
And they're not under consideration for me.
So really, unless we knock the wall out in the vault, if we can knock the wall out in the vault and expand our office area, I think that would solve our space needs.
From personal inspection, and it's confirmed in the blueprint, you can't go very far south because there is a structural beam right there.
Mhm.
South
The
side of
beam will
road,
have
but
to
you can
stay.
go north, quite a ways.
Okay. But at this point in time,
I was gonna say, at this time, you're not really looking to
At
do
this point in
anything
time,
like
I'd
that.
like to put everything on hold and try to
Work through
see
it.
what we can do, work through it, save the county some money, not spend any money until I know for sure what we're going to need. So I think we're gonna be okay, actually, for now. But if it, well, and I'll lead into something else here, but I'd like to put the space needs on hold for now.
Okay.
I guess your idea of using the vault would be a good one, except that, they take breaks and their lunch hours and stuff like that, and they have to.
We haven't taken a break.
But.
We don't take breaks. So
I
that's
was in
not
there
an
the other
issue.
day, and you're
No.
stopping for a little birthday pizza or
Right,
whatever,
right.
but people are always available, and
Right.
they said, well, hey, there's somebody at the counter wants you, they got up
Yeah.
and left, that type of thing, so.
And we've been told
it is.
we can utilize the sheriff's break room as well.
So if we
need
need
to.
to, we can.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get it figured out.
You're not ready to work.
And I'll keep in touch with you and I'll let you know if,
Where you're going
as
with
we
it.
move on, when I get to a point, if I do get to a point where we need to address it.
I just
So just have patience with me, that's the one thing I ask.
think I told you that I did a little researched what square footage of it and have done that, which didn't take long.
So, does anyone have any questions on that right now?
No.
Okay.
But the main thing is that you'll be getting the two computers,
Right.
but you're gonna take up less space than what the equipment you have now. So
Correct.
the space
So I think we
problem
can
is
make it work.
That's good.
For
That's
now,
good.
we're still tight, don't get me wrong, but we do have 9 people in our office right now because you did allow me to hire and train before Barb retired. And I thank you for that, it's worked out real well. Barb did submit her letter of resignation. So I'll share that, I'll give you a copy of that to go on file. I don't know if you want to look at it or
Yeah,
not.
they usually.
We usually do approval of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
when it's.
Well, we can put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I'll
can't we?
put it on the
Let's put it on the
agenda.
agenda.
Okay, well, her
And
last day
Jean-
will be
Jean
this.
can be here then.
Her last day will be this Friday,
Oh,
so she's,
is it that quick already?
yes, the 13th of April is her last day,
Gee whiz.
half a day.
So if you want to acknowledge it today, since next week she
We'll
won't be
we'll have to
here.
add that to the
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I make a
Okay.
motion that we add that to the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to add Barb Schultz's retirement to the agenda. Any other discussion?
And she will be gone, I don't know if
If
that's.
not, we'll call for the
She will
vote.
be gone.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so that's added to the agenda. Item number 11.
And I'll get a copy of that so you can share. Okay, and that's everything that I have then.
Do we have a motion to just accept the resignation?
Adding it to the agenda at this point.
Okay. And I do want to say publicly how grateful and thankful I am for her service. She's been an awesome employee, very good, and a good mentor for the other staff members.
I would add to that, she has been a good employer.
Yeah.
and
Very good.
we'll accept
Top
that.
notch.
As good as they get.
With
Okay.
regrets, we will, but tell her good luck on her future
Okay,
endeavors.
sounds good.
Thanks, Gene.
You bet, thank you.
Do we want to vote on that?
Yeah.
At this
Yeah.
point? Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept Barb Schultz's resignation with regrets.
Got a motion on the
She's
floor.
previously an employee of mine, and she's just a great person.
Yes,
Yeah, she's gonna be a
absolutely.
great employee, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wish they were all like that one.
Did we have a second?
We need a second, yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to accept that letter of resignation from the treasurer's office. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay.
Do the payables.
Yeah, let's move down to the payables next. Item number 8, you've got those in your packet.
Somewhere.
Making 2 payments to Rolling Hills, 2 quarters.
Yeah, we had to wait till we got our tax dollars in, so
John, you're not supposed to be doing that.
we will. We are done for 18.
So it's the 3rd and 4th quarter of 18
Correct.
is what you're paying.
Correct.
I will be late today.
Yeah, we have Jeff moving, so it's up to 10:30, that's why
Kind of makes the total a little deceiving, but
Yeah.
I didn't even see anything way out of whack.
No, I didn't either.
That's what the Rolling Hills thing was, so.
What's the deal with the emergency management? There's a 4th quarter FY funding has, and 4th quarter county contribution is,
set Department 70,
yes, it is.
that is the county share. That 5355 goes into the EMA fund to offset Sarah's salary. And the 6505 goes into the EMA fund to pay the Region 5 hazmat bill.
Okay.
That's the county's portion of funding for E EMA.
Those are my only questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the payables.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, need a second?
Second.
Hmm?
All those in favor?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Get sidetracked.
I'm gonna see how Dave's
Sorry.
coming with this
Okay.
one done.
Take a 1 minute break here.
We got time.
Sorry, Chantel.
Gonna delay it again? We'll be all right. Go talk to John, see if he's around. Start.